It is Sunday, the 23rd of August, 2020. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on Lunchtime News. My name is Purity Museo. We have a lot in store for you this hour. And of course, we'll also be speaking with Suleiman Yeri. The National Response Committee on Muslims is meeting to launch a convention. And among other things, it has declared that the committee requires at least 32 million shillings to run their projects on COVID-19. And of course, Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Rashid Aman is the chief guest. He has been speaking and of course saying that 22% of Kenyans that have lost their lives from COVID-19 are from the Muslim community, saying this is attributed to the fact that they are in denial that this disease exists, and most importantly in regard to following the protocols on COVID-19 prevention. Welcome to this broadcast at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag Lunchtime News. Tell us where you're watching us from. It will be great interacting with you during this coverage. Now, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi wants the president to set up a judicial commission of inquiry to unearth the corruption in the health ministry. Mudavadi said the scandals surrounding COVID-19 funds can only be resolved by a commission that enjoys immunity from political influence and whose decision will be binding. The ANC party leader is pessimistic that investigative agencies will nail the real careless at Afya House.
Kenyans await answers to queries arising from misappropriation of billions of shillings meant to fight the coronavirus pandemic. ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi now claims to be offering a solution.
Mr. President, a judicial commission of inquiry will unearth the real underlying problems of this malaise.
Mudavadi argues only a judicial commission of inquiry can unearth the cartels that have turned the Ministry of Health into a corruption hub. According to ANC party leader, waiting for Auditor General and investigative agencies to deal with graft at Afya House will take too long, since the institutions are already overwhelmed.
Commissioners of a judicial commission of inquiry enjoy immunity. Unlike our CID or DCI, police or EACC, who are vulnerable to influence, threats, and blackmail by the infamous powerful cartels. A judicial commission of inquiry is public, conducted in an open and transparent manner. There is naming, shaming, and refutation.
Mudavadi wants failure to deal with Afya House scandals with immediacy will chase away donors who are supporting health intervention programs in the country, benefiting millions. So far, the government has received over 220 billion shillings from international donors to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 on Kenyans. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
The National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, has raised a red flag over increasing road fatalities involving pedestrians and boda operators. Countrywide NTSA data and programs manager Samuel Musumba says the authority is reviewing traffic rules and formulating a new traffic policy in a bid to strengthen areas that are weak and seal the loopholes.
In 2019, the number of lives lost on the roads nationwide stood at 3,567 compared to 3,337 the previous year, an overall 6.9% increase in road accident deaths. Among the fatalities, pedestrians led at 1,376, followed by motorcyclists at 875, passengers at 565, drivers at 309 and pedal cyclists at 69. As a result of the worrying statistics, the National Transport and Safety Authority says the agency is revising traffic rules and framing a new traffic policy in a bid to reinforce areas that are weak.
Government set up a task force to look at the border sector and see how we can reform this sector. Now, this task force has given us its reports and recommendations. So now what we are doing now is we are beginning to implement the recommendations of the task force.
NTSA Data and Programs Manager Samuel Musumba says besides training the motorcycle taxi operators, the government intends to have them working under SACCOs, just like passenger service vehicle PSV operators.
Everybody is affected in one way or another. And these deaths are actually costing our country so much, to the tune of about 300 billion every year in terms of cost. So why we're insisting that, hey, let's be careful, it's because of all this.
Tuliona ni muhimu sana wafunzwe vile wanaweza kuwa wakichunga hizi magari, wanajichunga wenyewe, ndio at least wasi interfere na traffic, nayo traffic isizuie wafanye kazi.
Musumba was speaking in Ruiru, Kiambu County during the closure of a 2-week road safety training for employees of March Electricals Limited who have been doing repairs for damaged lights along the Thika Superhighway on contractual terms for the Kenya National Highways Authority KENHA. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Forest Service officials have arrested a private developer in Magarini, Kilifi County for allegedly destroying more than 20 hectares of mangrove forest. The officers ambushed Edward Mburu while at the Deputy Commissioner's office where he had been summoned to answer to land grabbing allegations. The distraction had sparked demonstrations by locals early last week. To the Kenya Forest Service Coast Regional Commander in charge of enforcement, Benjamin Were, the Friday afternoon arrest of the Kilifi tycoon followed a peaceful demonstration by the residents who alleged land grabbing and destruction of the marine ecosystem by the private developer.
2 days ago, we received a message that our forest has been destroyed. That is mangrove forest in Kilifi, and it forced us to come in, because that this issue of mangrove is a very serious issue. Mangrove is an endangered species, and it's also classified under state forests.
Jana huu bwana ambaye anaitwa Mburu aliweza kushikwa kule Marafa wakati akiwa na mkutano na DCC wetu. Wa maofisa wa Kenya Forest Service walifika pale na wakaweza kumarrest, na jana akampeleka seli hapa Malindi.
The National Environmental Management Authority NEMA is also pressing charges against Edward Mburu for flouting environmental laws.
Hili ni funzo kwa wengine ambao huwa wanaingia katika misitu hii ya serikali na kujifanyia mambo bila idhini. Kila kitu kiko wazi, mahali popote unapoenda lazima upitie kwa wahusika ili uweze kusaidiwa au kupewa mwelekeo. Na utakapojaribu kuingia bila ruhusa yetu au bila ruhusa ya mwenye mahali hapo, basi utakumbana na mkono wa serikali, kwa sababu misitu hii ya mangrove ni misitu ambayo kufikia sasa inatakana kusimamiwa sana.
It was not immediately clear why the investor decided to clear the mangrove forest, although unconfirmed reports indicated that he wanted to start a salt production project under the Munyu Salt Company, in which he is believed to be the proprietor. The accused will be arraigned in a Malindi court this Monday. And the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, is currently addressing members of the National Muslim Committee on COVID-19 response, among other things, on the response and the impact the virus has had on the Muslim community. Let's listen in.
They recover clinically from the disease, but when you test them for the virus, you keep finding the virus. And how many have we seen who have been tested 5-6 times for almost 60 days before? So there are many things we still do not fully understand about this disease. We also don't understand the level of immunity, whether this disease actually provides us with enough immunity in the body to be able to persist and protect us from future infections. These are areas that are under intense research, and as we move along, I think we will understand it better. There is data coming out now showing that perhaps maybe there could be a chance that this could give us, the immunity could be long-lasting, which could be good news because it means good for the vaccines, therefore, because vaccines work by boosting your immunity against the virus. So coming back to your question about loss of smell and taste, it is actually called anosmia in medical terms. It's there, it's one of the symptoms, and it might take a while for people to recover from that, but eventually people do regain those senses of taste and smell over time. But the point I'm making here is that we are learning a lot as we are. Just as we are experiencing this curve, the so-called curve, it is also a learning curve for us. We are learning more and more about the virus and how to deal with it. And I think that is going to continue, because this is a virus that, unlike any other virus, it's hard to predict really what it may do, because you can only predict when you have knowledge of something. We don't have that knowledge, so we'll be learning a lot as we go along.
Still, of course, a follow-up to that. Has the ministry probably reported anyone probably was reported a complete loss of smell even after recovery?
We know, yes. I mean, at least in the literature, it has been reported that people lose that smell, and it takes quite a while for that smell to come. So I know that yes, we must have patients who have experienced that. But that's not such a great worry compared to, we know that those senses will come back. It could be that the virus is affecting some of those cells, these sensory cells that are responsible for taste and smell. Some of them, if you know smell, we are talking about the nasal system. We also know the virus invades the nasal system, so there could be some relationship there. But the worry would be some of the more serious effects, long-term effects of the virus. Some of the information coming out now that people feel weak and incapable for quite a long time, even after they have recovered from the disease. So we'll wait and see.
The government cooperating with the government of China in the area of vaccines or treatment?
We are cooperating with many different partners who we are also learning from those who had this epidemic hit them earlier than us. Of course, China was the earliest. And there is a lot to learn from China because they responded to it, and we have had a lot of sessions of exchange of knowledge where they have presented to us how they approach certain things. We are learning from what has been published now in the literature. So there is a need for cooperation. If vaccines are being developed, we of course, everybody is interested in a useful and effective vaccine that will be able to protect people from contracting the disease. So there is a need to cooperate, but vaccines can only be produced following a certain procedure that is set, an international procedure that is set, a global procedure that ensures that that vaccine is, one, safe. Safety of the vaccine is critical, and two, that it is effective, does what it is supposed to do, which is to protect. These are international standards and procedures that are set, and there are a number of vaccines that are being developed that are going through those processes. You have heard of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials. Those are part of the processes. And the chances are that a product that has gone through all those phases might end up being a useful product at the end of that cycle. So there are vaccines being produced by different governments. There is effort in the UK. There are efforts in Europe. There are a lot of efforts in the USA. There is the vaccine in Russia, where a lot has been said about. All those are potential vaccines, but we will have to see what the outcome of the clinical trials is.
Has China promised to
That's my colleague Suleiman Yeri speaking with the Chief Administrative Secretary, Dr. Rashid Aman, that is in the Ministry of Health, especially on the COVID-19 update. And he is there calling for patience for Kenyans, especially on the development of vaccines, saying a lot of clinical trials required, and therefore a lot of patients also, he's calling for patience from Kenyans on the treatment of COVID-19. But most importantly, he talked about Kenyans, the need for Kenyans to continue following the COVID-19 prevention protocols, and also revealing that about 22% of the fatalities that we have experienced or seen here in the country from the 542 people who have succumbed to COVID-19, 22% of this number is from the Muslim community, and therefore he's also calling for compliance and following of these protocols by members of the Muslim community. And Yeri will be telling us more, especially on what the committee members on COVID-19 from the Muslim community is requiring from the national government in responding to this pandemic. Let's now take our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more to come. Stay with us.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Wewe yaonekana hata tarehe yangu ya kuingia nyumbani umeisahau. Sikukuona uwanja wa ndege, hapa nyumbani kwangu mpaka sasa hujaja. Mbona unikimbia?
Sikukumbia ndugu yangu. Kila nikileta matatizo yangu kwako, huyatilii maanani kabisa. Nikaona afadhali nifuate mambo yangu.
Yaani mimi nimetoka kule, lakini niliyopata kule sio mazuri. Amenikasirisha sana yule gavana.
Kwa shida gani tena?
Night on KBC Channel 1.
But I'm still hopeful that he'll come back, Mom.
No. To someone who needs a lot of love and care.
No. Don't tell me you want to bring Grandma here. I don't want that.
I think it will be better for you to just look on the good memories.
Oh, good memories. I'll definitely have 5 years down the drain. I kept thinking I was going to have a family with that dumb old man.
In love with Ramon. With 90% of its revenue coming from the world's famous Masai Mara National Reserve, Narok County was badly hit when COVID-19 took a toll on tourism. The lifting of movement restrictions across the country was thus a welcome relief for Narok, even though on the flip side, the country saw an increase in coronavirus infections. Join Purity Museo this Sunday, August 23rd at 9 p.m. on the Family Matters show as she engages Narok Governor Samuel Tunai on the county's COVID-19 mitigation measures.
Kitwek FM Kegosin.
You're watching KBC Lunchtime News. Welcome back. West Pokot Governor Professor John Lonyangapuo is urging political leaders to tone down the political divisions and early campaigns that are raising political temperatures. Lonyangapuo said early politics was derailing development and causing unnecessary division among Kenyans.
Nataka niwaombe Wapokot engagement ya biashara ya siasa. Kuna wengine wameanza siasa mapema na hawajui 2022 ni ya Mungu na ni exactly 2 years kuanzia sasa. Wewe hangaika tu na mdomo yako, siasa. I want to ask my people, noise, kwanza ile ya Nairobi, wanakongana, mpaka hata Jubilee karibu na kufa, wanajiita tanga, wengine wanajiita kieleweke. Biashara hiyo wacha, tufanye kazi. Kiongozi wa nje anaitwa Uhuru Kenyatta anatakana apewe nafasi yake na tumsaidie. Lakini sasa kila mtu mdomo panda hii, ngine mdomo panda ile. Ngine huko, wengine hata wana kila siku mbuzi na kufa huko nje. Hata tunaenda kwa Jumamosi. Kwanza kesho ni Jumamosi. Tarehe 22. Angalieni TV kesho. Mtaona wengine wanaenda tu mahali ati wameenda kwa fulani kukula nyama.
Crossing over to Kisii County, a family that lost 3 relatives in a fire incident in Kisii is appealing for assistance to help bury their loved ones. David Onyango, who lost his wife and 2 children following a mysterious fire at STOCKHOLM Jinga area of Kitutu Chache, says life has been so difficult and needs help to bury the remains of his kin at the family home in Kisumu County.
Onyango lost his wife and 2 daughters in a fire whose cause is yet to be established at STOCKHOLM Jinga village in Kitutu Chache, South Kisii County.
Nilipata kama nilikuwa nyumbani, mimi nilipigiwa tu simu ya kwamba nyumba yako inaungua, uko wapi? Ilibidi nikuje haraka, nilikuja mpaka Kisii General, nikapata kama watoto waliungua sana. Mama naye alichukuliwa Krista Marian. So madaktari walijaribu lakini haikuwezekana.
Locals had reported to the distress of the family who were trapped inside the house and rushed them to the hospital, but 3 days later the wife and his 2 daughters never made it. Onyango, who hails from Kitmikae Seme, East Kisumu County, is now appealing to the 2 levels of government and well-wishers to assist him.
Kitu imefanyika ghafla, hata kwa mfuko sikuwa natarajia kama inaweza nifikia. Sasa naomba kwa wenye wanaweza jitokeza kwa kunisaidia bili ya hospitali, bili ya mochari, mambo na jeneza, sababu ni watu 3, ni mili 3 sasa.
Benson Oduor, a caretaker of the premises in which the ill-fated house was located, described the tragedy as overwhelming for the family, which had been plunged into financial difficulties.
Nyumba imechomeka yote, vitu zimeungua zote, na nyumba pia imeungua, mabati imeisha yote juu. Hiyo ndio shida tuko nayo kubwa, na njia kufariji familia na vile ataenda kupumzisha familia yake kwa utaratibu.
Well-wishers can channel their help to David Onyango. M-Pesa account number 0704 738 194. Once again, 0704 738 194. Timothy Kipnosu for Channel 1 News.
It's now time for the sports news. The second leg of Diamond League Athletics meeting gets underway tomorrow in Stockholm, Sweden, with Kenya's 1500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot hoping to register his second victory in the series this season. Cheruiyot opened his season with a victory in Monaco last week, beating European champions Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway to the second place. World 5000 meters champion Helen Obiri will also be in action as she will feature in the women's 1500 race.
After the fireworks of Monaco last week, the Diamond League action moves on to Stockholm as it promises plenty of athletic pyrotechnics both on the track and in the field. World 1500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot is hoping to register his second victory in the series this season. Cheruiyot opened his season with a victory in Monaco last week.
I ran the first 800 meters, 149. So, and in Monaco I ran 52 first lap. So, I'm capable to run faster. So, I hope to run coast record tomorrow.
Other Kenyan athletes will take part in the event include Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon, who broke the Diamond League record in the 10,000 meters race last week in Monaco. Kipyegon will, however, face stiff competition from compatriot Helen Obiri and African champion Winnie Chebet in the 1500 meters race.
Okay, I did plan maybe I could do that faster race because I've not been training well back home. As you understand, there's so many challenges about COVID. So actually, I was going there maybe to do something like 1440. Actually, it was a surprise for me to do 1422 hours.
Kenya's Timothy Sen, who served as a pace setter in last week in Monaco, will take part in the event. Former Diamond League Series winner Ferguson Rotich will be Kenya's sole representative in the 800 meters race. He is hoping for a better result after finishing in the 8th position in Monaco last week. Sixth leg of the series in Eugene, London, Paris, Rabat, Shanghai and the Gate Shield have been cancelled due to coronavirus pandemic. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
And that's the latest at this hour. Thank you so much for watching Lunchtime News this Sunday afternoon. John Saidi, you're saying you are watching from Busia County. Samson Villa, you are also tuned in to Lunchtime News. And Frankie Kilungu, you are also tuned in. Thank you. Kariuki, you're saying that you are watching Lunchtime News. And finally, Kich Langat, you are also watching. We also had a few who are watching and their comments on Facebook. Right on time for Channel 1 News. Samson Schofield Villa, you are also tuned in. Thank you very much. I'll see you again at 9 p.m. County edition on COVID-19 coverage continues. And tonight we feature Narok County. We'll be speaking with Narok County Governor Samuel Oletunai. So do look out for that. My name is Purity Museo. Lenza Odingo has been our sign language interpreter this afternoon. I'll see you again at night for Channel 1 Weekend. Do have yourself a lovely afternoon and God bless.